Yo, what up? It's Deuce Red Zone. Listen, man, I refuse to be fooled over these position coaches. Let's take a dive into who they are. Today, we look at Ken Norton Jr. and Bobby Engram. Let's get to it. Yo, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Red Zone in the Lab podcast. This is from the sidelines, the command staff. What we're going to be doing on Thursday, 7:35. Every Thursday, we'll be looking at this staff. Over the last few years, we have been duped about who was on this staff. It's very important for us to build up his talent. Most important, it's important for us to get talent, get better talent, get more talent. But we also want to make sure that we have the people in place to build up the talent, to coach up the talent, to make them better than what they are. So that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's what we are doing for you here, right? So today we're gonna be looking at Bobby Engram and Ken Norton Jr. I do want to say that before we get started, I know there's a lot of conversations. Hold on, let me do this real quick. I don't know why I don't looking like that. I know there have been a lot of conversations surrounding the development of players, like because we all know that the lifespan of an NFL player is 3.5 years, right? We know that. We did research a couple months ago that out of 200 and some odd players that's drafted every year, that just about 30 to 50 of them get second contracts. Right? So what does that tell you? The gap between college football and the NFL is a huge gap. Right? It's a huge gap. Do we disagree with that? It's a huge gap, right? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Is your YouTube like in 9:16? Is that what's showing up? Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Um, it don't look crazy. Let me see what my YouTube looks like real quick. Um, it's all right now. I mean, on X it looks funny on X. Uh, but yeah, so we can all agree, right? So is it the players are not good, or is it the coaches are not good? Right? Are the coaches not coaching these players? Are they not developing these players? Right? And for me, I kind of think it's both. Right? I kind of think it's both because you have some bad coaches out there. And a lot of times we can see it. Right? We can see what it looks like if a player is not being coached up. We can see what it looks like if the player is not is not given an opportunity. We can see what all that looks like. And it really comes from training camp. OTAs, training camp. Because once you get to the season, the practices are way laid back in today's NFL. So a lot of the grind, it happens in OTAs and especially training camp. Right? But I think a lot of times coaches are so focused on being not so much the team being successful, but so much of their scheme, their concepts, their playbook being successful. And sometimes when you're so focused on that, you tend to get the players that you know can produce. And a lot of times you don't pay a lot of attention to some of those players, like those younger players that's not coming right out the gate ready to rock. So those other players that may take a little while longer to develop, you're not providing them the resources to get better while you're implementing your offense to the players that you know is going to see a lot of action on the field. Because listen, this is the NFL, and injuries is very prevalent in the NFL. We seen that with our team last year and how deep down the roster to the point where we had to go outside of the roster to field teams on Sunday. Right? So for me, when it comes to other coaches developing, or is it just the players? I think it's a mixture of both. But I think just looking at the 90s and the 2000s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we know the free agency, it really threw a wrench in the whole development process of a player, free agency. The need to be successful, the microwave society, right, didn't make it any better. So for me, I am looking at it as the issue with development of players is time. It's time. Because think about it, right? Think about this for a second. Think about this. Coaches usually coaches get a 5-year deal, right? Over the last couple years, 2-3 years, we have less than a handful of coaches get 6-year deals, right? And a lot of times they were like late bidding. One of them, Mike McDonald, like we offered him a deal for 5, Seahawks gave him 6. And I think the coach for, I want to say, the coach for the Panthers that came from the Bucks, I think he got a 6-year deal, and maybe someone else over the last couple years. But it's time. Like, these coaches have to win now. You got about 3 years, and depending the connection between the coach and the GM, because it seems like, a lot of the experienced coaches are kind of the GM too, kind of, right? Even though they have GMs, but a lot of the younger coaches have GMs that are separate from them. So both parties, the GM and the coach, they have 3 years to be successful. And what kind of might separate that, if the players individually are successful, right? Building blocks, one of the best at their positions, making Pro Bowls, but the team is losing. That way you kind of separate the GM from the head coach, because now you say, okay, the players are good, but the coach is not. So then you might give the GM an opportunity, fire the head coach, bring in another staff, and that GM might get a couple more years. But all in all, you have to win, and you have to win now. Right? Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, long tenured coaches. Do you think it's because they have all these Super Bowl wins and they winning? And no, it's I mean they both have a Super Bowl, but it's the ownership. It's the ownership having patience. I mean, look at the Seahawks. Schneider has been there forever. 2 Super Bowl runs. I think it was one player that was there when he was GM on during the first Super Bowl run. He's been given opportunities to learn from his mistakes. The same thing with Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman was the GM, and then they brought in new coach who wanted some of his own, so they kind of set Howie Roseman down for a few years. And then when that staff and GM got fired, they brought Howie Roseman back up. You have to win. And it's a sad thing because when you have to fail and win at the same time in order to keep your job. Right? You have to produce winning seasons, maybe sneak a playoff game every other year or something like that, but you have to show that you're a winner. Because if you're just losing, you're not going to be able to learn from your mistakes. So even when you get a second opportunity, right? Because a lot of people that you know, right? Like you get second opportunities, right? So when you get those second opportunities, you're still starting from scratch, even though you some of the things that you may have failed at. You want to make sure those things don't happen again. Some of those things that you were successful for, you want to make sure you build off of that. But even still, you're still kind of starting from scratch. And the reason is you don't have the same players, the same city, the same owners, the same expectations. Like all of those things change. So the things that may have been successful at the previous stop, the way things were set up might not be set up the same way. So you just can't automatically think that I'm going to be successful with this part of the job because I was successful with that part of the job before. And the same thing with failure, right? You might have failed at this previous job because of this reason. But at the new job, the situation or the resources that you may have might help you to succeed. But the point is, you have to, if you're failing, you have to be successful at the same time. Because if you're just failing, you're not going to be able to learn some of those mistakes. So when you have all of this movement going on, from the head coach to the executive offices, no continuity is being built within the team. Because now, like you draft a player, you might have a good first season and the next 2 seasons might not be as good. Or the first 2 seasons might not be as good. I mean, hey, we got a coach get fired after 1 year. It's all about media perception. How much do these owners care about good publicity? And it's all about the owners. I don't care if the GM has full autonomy to make the moves, whatever it is, the direction comes from the owner. And he will tell you, listen, I have patience to a point. And then you have some owners like an owner like the Bengals, where they should have fired their coach, but they won't because they don't want to pay because they're cheap. They don't want to pay 2 head coaches at the same time. But in that situation, You've had ample amount of time. He's had time to fail and time to be successful, all of those things. But he's failing. So yes, he needed to be replaced. Sometimes you hold on to coaches that are not successful too long for some organizations. And what is success? How much context are we going to provide for an unsuccessful season? And to the organization, one organization to the next, what's expected could be different. When you go to these Super Bowl winning organizations, the fan base, the media, they're expecting championships. And when you're not providing championships, that's below expectations. You might win playoff games, but the expectation is championship. So all in all of this has an effect on the players. Because now when you get a coach that's fired in the second or third year, everything is brand new, especially if everything with the GM, like everything is brand new. So now everybody wants their own quarterback. Everybody wants their own this, and that. Everyone wants their own, I want this, and that. So now the players that were already there, they kind of get pushed to the back burner. And they bring their own players in. And now that player is out the league. Unless it's a day one or day two player, because they usually get more opportunities. So for me, when it comes to the development of players, this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. It's not just all these bad coaches. Because if you think, a lot of these coaches come from the college ranks where they were successful. All of them came up, through the pipeline and were successful. I know that there are times where, people just give in because of relationships. I get that part. Right. And it's like I say, and some of it is coaching. Some of it is coaching. But all in all, it's time. These kids, they don't have time to develop. The gap from the college to NFL is so great. And I think we underestimate that. Like you hear sometimes with like the Jets and they say, oh, this college team could beat the Jets. No, they cannot, bro. No, they cannot. The NFL is a totally different monster. So it's time. And I don't know how to fix that because everybody wants to win now. Everybody wants to win now. And that's just not possible because you can only have one winner. And if you want to talk about getting to the NFC Championship game, you can only have, getting to the Super Bowl, you can only have 2 winners. Getting to the NFC Championship game, you can only have 4 winners. So, and then the division and the wild card, whatever. You get there, all right, cool, do it again. You don't hear nobody say, oh, yeah, we went to the division game. Like, who cares about the division game? In a sense, especially if your expectation is to get to the playoffs. Because if your expectation is to win the division, that's wild. That's a wild card game at home. But for playoff teams that are expected to go to playoffs, they're trying to get to the conference championship game at least. So it's time. It's time. It's time. Appreciate everybody for chopping it, for coming through. Again, man, we're gonna be doing this every Thursday at 7:35. We got DawgTired, who is somewhere around here. He provides all of the stats. We got our PR guy and contributor Chuck. He's going to be joining us a little while later. Who helps produce the show. Him and DawgTired help produce the show. Absolutely appreciate them. We're gonna be doing this every week from the sidelines. the command staff. We're gonna look at every single coach on this roster. I mean, we'll just get a little background where they come from, who they are, scheme concept, um, some of the players that they coached over the years. And the first two up is Ken Norton Jr., linebackers coach, and Bobby Engram, wide receiver coach. Who are we gonna do first? Let's see. All right, let's do Bobby first. Bobby, wide receiver coach. As a former player, he's a Nittany Lion, right? He got the Fred Biletnikoff Award for wide receivers. He had a long NFL career. He was pretty good. Right? He's a great route runner, right? Mental wide receiver. So he brings credibility. Like anytime you have a successful former player as a coach that worked through the rankings, you automatically get a ton of respect. But the one thing I'm also kind of looking at that I need to do a little more research on is the age difference. Because we noticed this coaching cycle, a lot of young coaches were hired. 40, a little younger, 40 to 45, right? A lot of some of these coaches that were hired is just came off of the gridiron not too long ago, right? And one of the things that head coach Durante Jones, I think, he said is if you want someone to listen to you, they have to trust you. And one of the easiest ways to get someone to trust you is to relate with them, or for them to relate with you, right? And understanding a player's day by day on and off the field helps be more relatable. So even the old coaches that came up during a different time, are they able to adjust to new times, right? Like the days of yelling at players and grabbing their face masks, like all that's over. That's done with. That's over. You get caught on camera with that, it's a wrap. So can they adjust? He has a lot of experience under John Harbaugh with the Ravens, coach wide receivers. He also had a stint with tight ends with the Ravens, which I didn't know. Like he coached up Mark Andrews. And a lot of things was the growth of Mark Andrews, his catching and things like that. Even though, he had some mental lapses over the last couple of years that Mark Andrews got. But hey, man, they extended him, right? He's going to be there. He's a staple. So he had some parts in that. But, the wide receivers over in the Ravens, it was always about they didn't have enough talent. Was it coaching? I don't know. Who knows? Right? So that was one of the things with the Ravens. He was also an OC quarterback coach at Wisconsin. Right? So he has that experience of running offenses. And it's college offenses, yes. But still, he has that experience. So a lot of times when we think about how much experience it really is in the offensive room, there's a lot of experience there. I'm beginning to learn that as I look at some of these coaches. Right? So here you go. You got Bobby Engram, a wide receiver coach that also has the experience, was working with tight ends, working with quarterbacks, and being a play caller. Right? Having that experience beyond just wide receivers, it gives him strong understanding of like scheme, quarterback timing, and how the passing game fits together. That's very valuable for developing receivers alongside a young quarterback. Very, 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 very valuable. T, what's good? What's up, T? See Hammer in the building. What else? Stability, right? Trust. That's another thing with coaches. Do the players trust you? Do your colleagues, your coaches around you trust you? Does the head coach trust you? Right? Do you and the head coach have a good relationship? Do you and your respective coordinator, if you're not the coordinator, do y'all have a relationship? Because listen, the coordinator has an offensive system that he needs to run. He needs, in this sense, with Bobby Engram, I might need my wide receiver to stem 3 yards for this route. While Cliff Kingsbury, that same route, he might need the wide receiver to stem 1 yard. So those details matter. That's why you have to be in tune with the OC, and the OC has to be in tune with his position coaches. There's no, that you cannot be separate in that, because you have to teach the scheme through detail. And stemming a route is a unpopular detail as far as conversation, but it's a very important detail as far as execution. Right? He's a fundamentals coach, prep, like very smart guy, man. Like he communicates with his players. They're easy to respond to him. He's professional. You always want those type of players around your younger players. He's not like a flashy guy. He's not a loud guy, right? If you don't know what he looks like, you don't know who he is. You might not even know what he looks like on the field, right? Even with the wide receivers, sometimes you'll see him and some assistants that might be there that's helping out. You wouldn't even know that's him if you don't know him, right? You don't see him doing interviews and stuff like that. He's very, professional, very, very low key, right? He's about the development of his room. And it's very important to have that type of experience with the defensive minded head coach. So he's absolutely a key figure with this team. Coach 12 years, winning record on the teams that he was on. So he's used to winning, right? Been in the playoffs 11 times, right? So he understands what's required of you to get to the second season, right? He understands that. He understands what it takes to get there, right? 49ers offense assistant, Pitt, Ravens, right? And he coached some greats, Hall of Famers, right? Mark Andrews, we talked about him, Torrey Smith. Is he a special team Hall of Famer? I'm trying to think. I ain't sure, but I know he had some great years with the Ravens, right? Steve Smith, right? He coached Steve Smith. You know what I'm saying? So, and now, he's had Terry the last couple of years. So he has the experience, man. He coached a lot of different places, right? Let me see. What's that Wisconsin on here? Okay, after the Ravens, he went to Wisconsin, 21-22. Yeah, started in San Fran, up in Philly, and he's currently here. So, like, I like Bobby Engram, but I don't know, like, do we see improvement? I think we saw some improvement from Luke McCaffrey from year 1 to year 2. But man, injuries hurt a lot. And he had a lot of work to do. Like, even though Chris Moore, I didn't even know Chris Moore was that old to like week 8 or 9. I didn't know he was 30, 31 years old. But even with Chris Moore, even though he dropped some touchdowns and he's not good, don't want him on his team, don't get me wrong. But, he made some catches, right? He made some catches. He was prepped to go. He had Robbie Chosen. He had all of these guys that wasn't in the league last year or was just on practice squad teams, and that wasn't with them all through training camp and through the first part of the season. So you have all of these guys that wasn't even at camp that he has to teach about that stem. Remember, we talked about the importance of that stem route. That's how far you stem a route. Like, you had to teach him all of that stuff, and that stuff takes time. Like, that stuff takes from OTAs all the way up through the season. You're working and trying to but you're trying to make sure it's perfect. And he had to do that, right? He had these receivers that was hurt. You know what I mean? So he had to get in his bag, man. Ultimately, he's still here. They decided to keep him. I think he's a great man. I think that's somebody that I'm glad to have on this team. The production from the wide receivers last year, right? Just think about that. You know what I mean? And I think I think he was here with Ron too. Was he here with Ron? I think he's a holdover from Ron. So like there's a relationship there, right? And anytime you're a coach where you 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 work for two different regimes, like when a regime comes in, they decide to keep you, that speaks a lot. That speaks a lot about you as a coach and how the players relate to you and look up to you. So that is Bobby Engram. All right. Ken Norton. Ken Norton. Ken Norton Jr. I mean, championships, man. Like, what do you have? What, 4 Super Bowls? I think 3 as a player, 1 as a coach, right? So he understands what it takes to be successful. Let me check my timeline. Let me see. I need what you smoking. Ben Sinnott, 2026 Pro Bowl fullback. Pro Bowl fullback. Let me see. One second. If y'all see it on the timeline, retweet for your boy. I don't know what it looks like because X is still like I don't know what's going on with X, but it's still acting up. It's still acting up. All right, Ken Norton, Bobby Wag, he might be a coach. Champ, right? He knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl, man. As a player, he knows what that grind is all about. As a coach, he knows what all that grind is about. I mean, he's been to the playoffs multiple times. As a coach, he knows what that grind is all about. He knows he knows what it takes. He knows how how committed you need to be, and that's great, right? It's good to have him. When they brought him in, I was excited about it, right? Somebody that the players look up to, one of the all-time greats, and you have that on your staff that's shown that I can win it. I can win it as a player, and I can win it as a coach. Someone with a strong voice in that room that can teach and help these kids get where they want to get. Now, I'm not too sure about how he relates to these younger players off the field, but as a no nonsense type guy, he probably may struggle with that a little bit, but he might not. Like I don't know, right? But he definitely carries a no nonsense type walk, a type attitude, right? So he brings that experience into that linebacker room, that standard of what you should be. So I wonder the conversations behind the closed doors about this defense last year between these coaches. Like when Joe Witt walked in that coaches meeting with the defensive coaches, I wonder what some things that was said, right? I wonder if Ken Norton is the type of coach that's going to say, hey, look, we might need to sit Bobby on third downs, right? Or is he kind of like a laid back type guy, right? Being just the linebackers coach at this point, right? He knows what elite preparation is. You know what I mean? Like the defensive culture looks like at the highest level on as a coach and as a player, coach and as a player, right? From 2010 to 2014 with that Seahawks, we know what that defense looked like. That defense was elite. Elite. And he knows what that takes, man. He knows how to get these boys up, train these boys. You know, been and it, he even has like as a defensive coordinator experience, right? It was a DC, right? That matters. Experience. And we talk about this even with David Blau, how we just talked about Bobby Engram having experience in those, you know, not just as a position coach, but as a coordinator, as a quarterbacks coach, a tight ends coach, and a wide receiver coach, and an offensive assistant, right? So he has that in that room, right? And of course, we still have Anthony Lynn and Brian Johnson, but even though we have a young quarterback room, when I say young quarterback room with the quarterbacks coach, DJ, and then assistant quarterbacks coach and the offensive coordinator, yes, they all are young, but they have experience around them. They have experience around them, and that absolutely matters, right? That absolutely matters. Um, so when you talk about the play calling, you know, depending on what type of coach Durante is going to be, and we're going to definitely get into him later on. And we'll try to get through all the position coaches first. But you heard him talk about all of the coaches that he coached under, where he learned from. He seems like he's a DC that absorbs a lot of information, right? That invites a lot of information. And when you see that, and when you have a player like that, someone like Ken Norton's voice will be heard, right? We don't have to feel like, oh, I wonder if he's listening to those before him that have winning pedigree, right? Winning pedigree. And when people win, when folk have winning pedigree, it's easier to listen to them, right? Let's just be honest. You know what I mean? Chuck, what's good, man? How you feeling?
What up? What up? What up, everybody, man? My apologies, but Uncle Sam be calling sometimes, so I gotta do what I gotta do.
um, let me see. You gonna be mad at me? I forgot to put this up. Hold up. Um, all right, let me get this up. So when it comes to the experience that Ken Norton has on and off the field, the play calling experience, and the full like he has a full scope understanding of defensive structure, right? Not just at the position level, right? He understands how a whole defense supposed to work, how a whole defense is supposed to work, right? When the linebackers should do drills with the safeties, when the edge rushers should do drills with the cornerbacks or the slack, because those things matter. If you have a like what we're expecting to have a multiple defense bringing pressure from all over the place, those edge rushers have to be in sync with the secondary, right? So he understands all of that type of structure, right? And he has a heck of a track record. But let's just go back a little bit to Bobby Engram for Chuck. We talk about this, the wide receivers coach, and all the experience that he has. As an OC, offense assistant, tight ends, wide receivers, and all those different types of things. Even though we kept my concern was losing Lynn, right? Because Lynn, he did it interview for the OC job, didn't get it, interview some other places. And we didn't know. I mean, not Lynn. Brian Johnson did those things. And Anthony Lynn, he interviewed for some head coaching jobs, and we wasn't sure if he was going to go to Penn State or not, right? But they took away the run game coordinator title from him, and now he's just a running backs coach. But I was always concerned about the experience because David Blau is so young, and the quarterbacks coach DJ and all those guys are so young and inexperienced. But someone like Bobby Engram is also in the room. But for you, Chuck, how important is that to have these position coaches have experience of running a whole side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it plays a lot into what's easier for them, because once you take away all the extra responsibilities and they just got to single in and focus on one thing, it makes it way easier. it's less stressful. It's less anxiety for game planning, and plus they know a lot more. They know what kind of defenses they can go up against, or what kind of offenses they can go up against. But a lot of times they can just single in on their specific, position group, and then just pull out the best out of that group without having to worry about, oh, I got to worry about, linebackers too, or I got to worry about O line too. I got to worry about how my wide receivers are reading the offense, or how my defensive backs are going to react to certain offensive. So just so they can single in on their specific skill groups, it sort of can be like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, I'm here trying to do something I told you I was gonna do a couple days ago with the background. I didn't get the photos. I thought you said you was gonna do the photos, right? Did you do the photos? I don't know.
Yeah, I sent them the ones in the group chat out of regular.
Oh yeah, I didn't put them on the flyer. But we'll figure it out. And hold on. Let me cut this off. All right. So yeah, so more about Kid Norton, right? Like his coach, he's been responsible for a lot of great players. A lot of great players. I mean, when you talk about Bobby having a couple stints with him, he's a Hall of Famer, right? What's up, Outlaw? How you feeling, man? He's a Hall of Famer, and just the coaches, the players that he's been around that were like, I mean, Navarro Smith, Malcolm Smith, I mean, Bruce Irvin, those type of players. I mean, the Legion of Boom, right? He was around all those type of players, helped coach all those type of players. So he has credibility, right? He's coached high level players. He's coached borderline Hall of Famers, All Pro, Pro Bowlers, right? He's coached day three players, right? He's done a lot of that, and his experience is very valuable. And for him to stay on, I think that matters a lot to the Rons because he can lean on him, right? You know what I mean? His voice carries. His voice is strong. I mean, just his ability to coach multiple positions within that box. And we know his thing is linebacker, right? The inside linebacker, the outside, the edges, like all of those things he has experience with. And with today's NFL, you have to, right? Because like these linebackers are interchangeable. Like, I mean, even Louisville, we've seen Louisville up and down the line of scrimmage. Bobby kind of stands still, but this defense, what we're expecting for it to be, Chuck, we're expecting like he says going to be a multiple defense, bringing pressure, creating pressure, and to be able to do that, we're going to have these linebackers play at a high level.
Yeah, most definitely. Was that I might be getting it confused. Who was Madrano's guy? Like that when he did his draft little I don't want to say
Uh,
interview, but he was talking about one of the coaches. That wasn't Kim, was it?
was it Bobby? Was it the alma mater, or he coached at the school?
Yeah, he
Well, I
coached at
would.
UCLA for
Well,
a
I
bit.
don't think it was Bobby because Bobby didn't coach at UCLA.
It was one of our coaches that
Yeah, I remember. I remember exactly what you're talking about. Oh, you know what? He did. Yes, he did. He coached. Yeah, it was Bobby because Bobby coached at UCLA at 22 and 23.
Bobby Engram.
No. I mean, Ken Norton.
Ken Norton, yeah, Ken
Ken
Norton.
Norton. Yeah, Ken Norton. He coached at USC.
Yep.
Right during their championship run. He coached at USC during their championship run, and he coached with the Bruins in 22-23. So yes, it was Ken Norton that has the experience with Kane Madrano. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Ken Norton.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. Yeah, good pull. Good pull. It's crazy because I got that in my notes and I ain't even that's why I had to say, hold on, let me take that. Right. Like strong fundamentals. And so and that helps me, right? Because I was like, well, when you have these older players that's used to a different NFL, but he has college experience. So he's been around those guys. Like he's been around the young folks. So he has that experience relating to them. So I'm even more excited about Ken Norton. I'm even more excited. How many times have I called him Bobby? I'm sure I called him Bobby a lot of times. um I mean, defense philosophy first for life, so I'm sure he got a heck of a relationship. Well, we know he has a relationship with Dan Quinn. I mean, he's a valuable veteran on the staff, man. Right? I think he can help build an identity, right? But that's something that we don't know who we are the last couple of years. So hopefully, supporting Durante, we can kind of see, what that defensive identity is going to be as the season goes on. Um, it's good, um, he's one of those. It seems like he's one of these coaches where this is where I'm going to be, right? This is where I'm going to be. Like I did the coordinator thing. I've been here. I did this. I did that. This is where I'm going to be, a linebackers coach, and I'm gonna put all my energy into that. But I know before I had an issue with coaches that's okay with being position coaches, and Randy Jordan was one of them, right? And with him, remember Randy Jordan, running backs coach? I
Yeah.
mean, he made it through like 2 or 3 regimes, and he just was a running backs coach. I don't know. One time he might have been assistant head coach. I don't know, but just a running backs coach. Like you have no aspirations to be anything more, right? But when you think about Ken Norton, man, he been in the game so long, up in age, like he probably don't want that stress. Hey, look, man, I'm going to do this thing that I love, and I'm going to be great at it. But where are you, Chuck, with like coaches sort of like Ken that have no aspirations to move in a sense like being coordinators or head coaches?
I mean, I think it kind of hits on what I was talking about before, man. Like coaching in the NFL is hard, man. Like I know we give these guys like a lot of like flack, but it's actually hard, man. Like it's not often you see somebody just get into the coaching game and just be like, just hit the ground running, So a lot of these guys, they probably just like think of it as like a maybe a special teams player, If they can just do the one thing on special teams real good just to keep themselves around on the team, then they're gonna do that. So you can probably apply that into the coaching realm. And a lot of these guys are older too. Like they don't want to go through the whole dealing with all these young players and especially like when you gotta coach a whole offense or you gotta coach a whole defense or you gotta coach a whole team. Like it's so many different personalities you gotta deal with even with like moving up in the coaching room means you're over other coaches. So now you got to make sure those coaches are doing the right thing and not slacking in any way. You got to be able to let guys go when they're not doing their job. So it's a lot more that adds into it than just coaching running backs or just coaching DBs. So that's probably why some coaches just lean towards that. Like, hey, if I can do a good job of coaching these running backs, and we're a playoff team consistently, or all of my running backs that come through here are top 5 running backs, or they when they become free agents, they're highly picked free agents, stuff like that. That they probably like that job. They'll just keep it.
Mm-hmm. I agree, man. But if you're a young coach and all you want to do is be a offensive line assistant, like I don't really want you around, bro. Be honest. But if you've been around the block a few times, like it's cool to just sit on the porch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you've
Just
been there, done that. It ain't nothing wrong with it.
yeah, man. But yeah, man, with Ken Norton, man, the championship experience, the coordinator, the background, with these linebackers, like he's gonna have he's gonna have a like he got a job to do, right? He's gonna have a job to do. If Bobby decided to retire or go play somewhere else, right? You're not gonna have that vet voice, right? That coach player type voice in there with you anymore. You got these young guys in there, and depending on what they do in free agency, right? They bring in a Quay Walker, a Devin Lloyd. Some of those guys can definitely help out in that area. But if they looking to get young, man, Kame or John O. McGee, like these young guys, man. So, and with this defense, that middle of the defense, these linebackers are gonna play a big part. They're gonna play a very, very big part, man. So, the standard, the effort, the prep, like all that stuff is Ken Norton, man. I mean, look at his record. Like, yeah, he has a winning record in the league. You know what I mean? A playoff record, been to playoff 11 times. So, like, he understands what that looks like. He understands what it takes to get there. With the Seahawks, the Raiders, especially the Seahawks. Like the Seahawks, especially like being around all of those great players, man. It speaks to who he is as a player, and I know these guys respect him dearly. Hey, Ann, I'll try to look at that. Maybe if you can at me on the timeline, Ann, I'll grab it and look at it. I appreciate that information, and I'll definitely look at it to see what it is. If you at me on X, and everyone that's on X, we absolutely appreciate you, right? Just like the ones that's on YouTube. But if you can hit that link, go to my bio to subscribe to the podcast. Absolutely appreciate it. Um, oh, the Lattimore thing. I think that one was that's not if that's the one with the guy saying Lattimore is going to be released. The NFL guy, I know he got a lot of followers, but that's not like an official report because a report did come out a couple of days ago. I think it was on one of the inside saying like it's going to happen, and I think that's not like a surprise to us. I think a lot of us know it's going to happen, but when it happens, and it absolutely has to happen before April 1st, because April 1st he gets that 25 or $2.5 million roster bonus. So I don't think they want to pay that. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's going to come soon, right? But that's not official. He's not officially released yet. But yeah, so before we move on and we get to riddle news of the day, I just want to give midnight drop. Hell at Midnight is dropped at midnight every night. It's dropped at midnight every night, and I want to give you all just a small piece of it, really, really quick, just to kind of see what it. I'm not sure where it's going to go from here, Chuck. Right? Because I'm still kind of like the first night was like 10 minutes. I was like, nah, that's too long. I don't know if I wanted to for it to kind of be like this, and I kind of shorten it up. Then it's a little comedy to it, so I'm
Are
just
you
trying
gonna
to
wear a suit
figure out,
every night?
huh?
Are you gonna wear a
I don't
suit every?
know. Like right now I am, right? Like I don't know. Like right now I am. So we got to see what it's going to look like, right? So but let me see. I'm going to pull it up. I got it somewhere on here. I'm checking my notifications. But yeah, we do that. It's called Hell at Midnight. It drops midnight every night, Monday through Friday. Don't forget we have Riddle Radio. That's only on X. Hell at Midnight is on X and YouTube. Riddle Radio, which is a radio show, it's pretty much based on Commanders, but we talk about all DC sports and anything else that's kind of relevant. Not relevant, relevant. No, hold on. Yeah, relevant and and the sports world. And also we have yesterday we talked with John Vogel, nicknamed the Draft, about a draft analyst and NFL draft analyst, and we talked a lot about evaluation, like how these teams evaluate these prospects, what it looks like, the work that they put in, the differences be having, a small scouting staff to teams that have bigger scouting staff, like how that impacts like day 3 prospects. And our draft show Sunday nights 8:35. This past week is on YouTube. Check it out. We did day 3 centers, day 3 quarterbacks, and we did kickers. Hashtag kicker in the 7th. And this Sunday we're gonna be doing running backs and tight ends. Tomorrow, tap in tomorrow 7:35. Logan Paulson is going to be in the building. So be there to check that out. Let me see. I'm trying to find it. Hold on. Let me see. Um. Oh, let me play this joint real quick. Hold on. Let me play this joint real quick. You Jeremiah love folks gonna love this. The ability to play slot. The ability. I'm gonna play this. uh, oh man, hold on a second. It's coming. Hold on, y'all. Oh well, you can see it, right, Chuck?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't change the view. Um, all right, let's play this.
Jeremiah Love, who again, a lot of people say running back at
Can you
7,
hear it, Chuck?
like it's a
Yep.
playmaker at 7, right?
All
Like
right.
the Jeremiah Love, who again, a lot of people say running back at 7, like it's a playmaker at 7, right? Like the ability to run, the ability to play slot, the ability to kind of win versus man coverage versus linebackers and safeties. Like that dude's got it all.
You got a sound bite, man.
Jeremiah Love, who again, the running back
Oh
at
my
7,
god! But hold on, let me play this because a lot of y'all know about Calfgate, right? Um, which was crazy. I haven't talked to you offline about that, Chuck. I don't know if you've been following Calfgate or not.
Man, I done
It's
had a
been
week.
crazy. All right, so those that have not been or that hasn't been following Calfgate, what happened is, um, a media person tweeted out a picture of Laramie Tunsil and another player. I mean, a person next to him had his back turned, had dreads, and they said that this was, according to the sources that they have, this is Brandon Ayuk. So the next day it came out that it was his business manager and it wasn't Brandon Ayuk. And that one person, now that tweet is down. That one person deleted the tweet. So here's something, some of Hell at Midnight. Listen, we starting this off with Calf Gate. Yes, Calf Gate. Remember yesterday we talked about the black guy with the dreads, with the shorts and the slippers on? Everybody was saying, oh, that calf looks familiar. You see the muscle definition? That's Brandon Ayuk's calf with Laramie Tunsil. Well, it came out today that was debunked. That was Laramie Tunsil's business manager, who kind of looks like Brandon Ayuk from the calf. Now that tweet is down. Just remember, folks, all calves are not the same. Oh man, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love this content stuff. Up next, we got riddle news of the day.
It is now time for riddle news of the day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chuck. I got your news of the day. I have my cam on for the other segment, but yeah, man, we're gonna get started with some UFL news. So tomorrow, in the UFL, all players will report to their designated teams. I can't remember how many teams it is, but yeah, all players will report to their designated teams. So that means for the DC Defenders, your boy Gabe Taylor will suit up. We will see what number he will wear for the DC Defenders, and we'll go from there. Diving into a little bit more somber news. A rapper from
Before you go
Florida.
forward,
One more time.
before you go forward, let's do Gabe Taylor real quick, right?
Okay, let's talk about Gabe Taylor.
Gabe Taylor is the brother of Sean Taylor. He got a camp invite to the Commanders last year, and it was just an invite. At this invite, a lot of local prospects are invited. The majority of the time, none of them are signed. The fan base believed that he was a gem, and they wanted him here. And I get it. I understand. He did not make the team, but now he signed. Like, I don't even know. Like, do they do a draft? Like, what do they do? Do they draft players, or is it like an email? Like, what is it?
Yeah, because email. It's a pigeon letter. No, but it's a draft because Sam Hartman got drafted, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So he's playing with them. He drafted them. They signed or whatever. So if you notice, a lot of the promotion around the Defenders is Gabe Taylor. I'm not sure if you noticed that, right? But shout out to Gabe Taylor. I've definitely was his 4th year, 3rd year. I'm not going to lie this time. I'm going to actually go. Hopefully, I wanted to go, but I just never found time. I just didn't have it in me, right? Like I'm not doing the beer snake. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Right. But Chuck, like I told you, let me know when you're going to go, and I'm going to try to get up enough to like I'm going to this DC Defenders game, to show support to the DC Defenders and Gabe Taylor.
We'll put it out on the pod. We'll make it a whole big thing.
Yeah, there it is.
We'll let y'all know. Y'all meet us there or beat us there. One of the two. But yeah, man, that should be it. It should be fun. I'm not doing the beer snake though. But
no, sir.
I'll definitely be in attendance.
All right, what else we got?
All right, I'm gonna slip this in real quick. The Bears are in the talks, in the works of moving their stadium. They probably won't be the Chicago Bears anymore. They'll be like the Indiana Bears. But we'll breeze over that. We'll get more info as we go along, and we will update y'all. But Deuce, how you feel about the Indiana Bears?
I don't really care. Right? Right? I don't really care. But I think it's very interesting because as a football fan, right, Soldier Field, Chicago, like I've been to that stadium. The vibe is nice, right? It's cold for sure, right? Look at Valance. Look, shout out to Gary Indy. What do you say? Indianimals. Right. So I've been there. It's a cool city. Like I love the city of Chicago. It's a cool city. And football is a staple there. I mean, they have a few sports teams, but football is a staple, man. Right. And you would hate for the NFL to lose that to Indiana, right? Like Indiana, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, like Chicago had an opportunity. I think they had a house meeting today to discuss the stadium stand in Illinois, and they canceled the meeting, right? And Indiana is moving ahead, and the Bears, their ownership is all with it. Right. Yep. They're all with it. And I don't like, honestly, bro, when it comes down to I think it's going to be something similar to like what we went through with the Wizards. Remember when the Wizards were supposed to go out Crystal City and they had a plan and they popped champagne bottles and all that, and they end up coming right back.
Yeah.
Right. Or not going anywhere. I think that's what's going to happen here. It'll be tough, bro, to see that. Like it'll be tough for sure.
All right, the last thing we'll get into for the news of the day is Florida rapper Lil Papa passed away yesterday. He was 25 years old. He was actually a guy that I listened to. I found out the news myself. My little brother texted me. And, sometimes when you get information like that, you got to go and do your research because a lot of times it's like scams or people make fake posts or whatever. But after a while, the news came out that he did, in fact, passed away yesterday. So if that was a person you all listened to, actually, I inspire you to go check out his music, man. He actually made pretty good music, real sentimental music for what he was actually going through. So if you get some time, you like melodic rap, he's definitely a rapper you should check out. So condolences to the family. And yeah, that's it for the news.
There we go. Next up after this is Chuck's Corner. And that was...
It is now time for Riddle News of the Day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chuck. We're here at the corner, man. Thank y'all for, tagging along with redzoneinthelab. Here we are for the corner. We're going to talk about some more WNBA stuff today, actually. So first things first, we're going to talk about the WNBA CBA negotiations. Now, speculations are coming about that there might not be an agreement coming along. I believe it's March 1st is when a lot of the season stuff is supposed to kick off, like their free agency and all that stuff. So no CBA agreement has been reached yet. It's been a lot of social media back and forth between the players and the WNBA and what's going on with that situation. But so far, it looks like we could be heading towards maybe a lockout, with how the NBA had a couple years ago, where the players ended up playing at different high school basketball gyms with other hoopers and stuff like that. What may happen is Unrivaled may take over a whole season. They may convert from 3-3 to 5-5, but we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, the WNBA and the WNPA gets it right to where they can come to an agreement and the players can play and they can also get paid what they are due. That is the bottom line. They're just trying to get paid what they are due. All right, now Unrivaled catch up. We'll go into some scores that happened on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, the Lunar Owls ended up defeating the Breeze. The score was 70-75. Skylar Diggins came back for that game. She played, had a great game. Actually, there was a dunk in that game. Dominique Malonga, she plays for the Seattle Storm. Yeah, Seattle Storm. She actually ended up dunking in that game. So it's a lot going on there in Unrivaled. And then for the later game, we had the Laces taking on the Hive. That score ended up being 76-61. So Unrivaled is going. They start again tomorrow with big news. Angel Reese is returning to Unrivaled tomorrow, Friday, the 20th. She'll make her debut against the Laces, I believe. She plays for the Rose Basketball Club. So if you're an Angel Reese fan or you just like watching her play, she'll be playing tomorrow. And if you're a Mystics fan, Shakira Austin also plays for the Rose. So it'd be a crazy dynamic watching those two play because we're so used to them playing against each other in the WNBA season. Now it's a pretty cool opportunity to see them play with each other. So in my opinion, DMV hoops are up to see that duo play. The last thing I'll go over real quick is there is another basketball league. Y'all probably like, oh man, Chuck, it's another. Yes, it's another one, right? This one is actually a 5v5 league. It's called Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball. They are 5v5 league. They play in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're native to the Nashville area or if you're close to Tennessee and you don't mind driving, you should check out some of their games. They play the 5v5 format, and they actually have a pretty cool format where they switch teams every week. So each week it's a new captain. It's about 4 captains. They take over. They pick their teams at the end of the week, and then the next week those teams play each other. Some names you could look for. There's Tahina Pau, Deja Kelly, Ariel Powers, Anissa Morrow, Zia Cook. She played for the Gamecocks. She also plays in that league. Caitlin Chen, she plays in that league. So it's a lot of big names in that league also, along with Unrivaled. So a lot of women's basketball stuff. I'm trying to get y'all interested. A lot of people just don't know. So the more you know, the more you'll get interested. The NBA season is probably not going to pick up to the playoffs. So if you need something to watch women's hoops. That's all I have for the corner, and I will see y'all next week on the corner. Thank you.
There it goes. And also, like, Krim was looking for you because he was trying to talk some WNBA. He was like, yeah, Chuck back here around, he working. That's what South was telling. He working, but he was trying to talk some. Everybody know where to go to for WNBA ball. Either you or Unc. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. Herb, what's good, man? How you feeling? About to shout out. All right, man. Remember, we're about to get up out of here. Remember, go to the YouTube. Please subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Check out the content that we posted. We got some draft stuff on there. Some draft NFL draft analysts came on. We looked at, like I said, day 3 centers, quarterbacks, hashtag kicker in the 7th on Sunday. John Vogel joined us on yesterday. Logan will be here tomorrow. Check out Hell at Midnight. Hell at Midnight drops every midnight on X and on YouTube. Also, Riddle Radio. It's a radio show on X that we do Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. We talk all things Commanders. and anything else that's going on in DC sports and all of the hot topics in the sports world. Oh yeah, just make sure you sub, hit that notification, that ding, hit that ding, so you won't miss nothing. Bonzi say, "Whoa, Sonya, since I'm my girl now." So you won't miss all that stuff. And also tomorrow, Logan is going to be here at 7:30. So I'm gonna post that at 7:35. And Saturday morning, I know a lot of people don't get up early, but I'm going to start the film room. The film room. We're going to look at some tight ends and we're going to look at some running backs because that's what we're going to cover on the Commanders Draft Show Sunday night. So Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be here on YouTube and on a webinar format because all of our tape is going to be on a webinar format, so we won't get any hits or whatever on YouTube. But the YouTube link I will be open here, sharing the link in the YouTube. And I mean, in the comment section here, so you can go to the webinar and also watch and participate with the film study. We will look at some tight ends and some running back that the Commanders could pursue. But Chuck, what you got, buddy?
Hey man, if you didn't know, I'm gonna let you know right now. I do have a Twitch and a TikTok that I stream on. I try to get out daily content. I'll come out with a better schedule probably this weekend. So yeah, if you want to check out some gaming, I do that on my Twitch. Everything is at Chuck2X. You can find me on Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. What else? Yeah, that's basically the big three. So if you want to check out gaming content, just hit me up on there. And I'll probably start playing with viewers and stuff like that, or I'll take on some Madden challenges. So if you want to get beat, just let me know.
Rob, no, we're doing tight ends and running backs this weekend. Wide receivers is coming up. We're gonna do the wide receivers after the combine. So this weekend we're doing tight ends and running backs. And that week that we do the wide receivers, the day before that Saturday morning, we're gonna do the tape on those guys in the film room. But that's a wrap, man. Chuck, DawgTired, and myself, we thank you. We know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We absolutely appreciate it. Remember, I forgot the all the links that Chuck talked about with this content is in the descriptions, and also DawgTired, our stat man. So if there's a stat up here that I said that was wrong, it's on DawgTired. It's on DawgTired. It's his fault. So at him and let me know that stat was wrong. Appreciate them for helping me produce the show. Appreciate you. We know your time is very valuable to spend it with us. We absolutely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.